Talking about the Engage case, it's a very controversial case. A lot of people have opinions about it. Why was the resolution that was reached in this one the right one and the best one?
Well, I'm not going to say I fully think it's the right or the best one. It was what we thought was the best outcome at the time. I've still struggled with it, but given the law, given consultation with the victim and his mother, that was what we all felt was the best outcome. And if the victim and his mother are good with it and are satisfied with that, who am I to say that it's wrong, right? So that's a very, very short version of all of the factors that went into it, but there's punishment for her. 30 days in jail for a woman like Tracy Morrison is a lot for her personally. Like, I don't ever think she ever dreamed she would spend a minute in there. In addition, we have the 120 days of house arrest, and she's forced to relinquish her licenses. So, do we put this child through testifying and going through cross-examination and doing all of those things when we can guarantee that she can't teach again? Or do we risk putting him up there, putting him through all the trauma and maybe not getting the result that we want, and her doing it again?
Can you talk any about the previous jury trial verdict that maybe influenced some of the decisions in this?
Yeah, it significantly influenced the decision in this. So part of the definition of physical injury in this case includes, sub definitions, right? So it's complex. It's not like a simple definition of physical injury. One of those is physical pain, right? So it says substantial pain. What does that mean? There's no definition for substantial pain within the definition of the physical injury. We had a trial on a domestic battery a couple months ago where that was the issue, right? So a little girl was allegedly, I should say now, like the charge was that her stepfather hit her, so much so that when the police officer got there, there's body camera video of her crying, putting her hands on her head, screaming that he hit her and that it hurt. And in that case, the jury said, no, that's not enough. That's not substantial pain. So if it's very similar facts as far as the age goes, and the type of touch and or hit or whatever you want to call it, and if that jury told me no just 2 months ago, what am I doing now? What am I risking with a jury trial in Craighead County where I've already been told that's not enough?
With the video showing so much emotional abuse, you mentioned that there's not a statute that really covers emotional abuse. It's about physical injury. Is that right?
Right. There's nothing in that statute that specifically says anything about emotional abuse. And to me, that's the most horrific part of watching the video, is the emotional abuse. And but there's not a statute that says you can't emotionally abuse your children. There's different variations of different types of abuse that we can fit into, but nothing specifically fit in the context of these facts that would create anything other than the misdemeanor charges that she pled to.
Would that be a helpful tool to have, or something that, I know you don't want to tell lawmakers what to do, but maybe something to consider?
It may be. I think that's something that there may be some reason why lawmakers haven't done that, and I don't know, and I've not researched it or asked, but yes, I think there should be something to that, right? And it may be something we would want as a sentencing enhancement, or I don't know what it looks like, but when you start getting into that gets, we like to be very matter of fact in the law, and
right,
like black and white and what one thing means or another, and then lawyers come in and we muddy the waters, right? So if we're already talking about a mushy issue, I can understand why lawmakers have struggled with the idea of that if they've ever even thought about it. So yeah, I think it would be great to have something that would prevent emotional abuse in that form, because in my opinion, it was very dramatic and outrageous. But it just doesn't exist right now.
For the other co-defendants in the case, did you want to mention anything about how their disposition was handled?
Everything was done in consultation with the victim and his mother. So there's nothing that and we do that with all of our cases, right? So we want the victims to be involved. They don't ultimately make the final say in a lot of cases, but generally that's our goal, is we want to be on the same page with our victims and have them fully understand what our recommendations are and why, and have them be on board with that. So that's something we did in this case. So all of the pleas were done in consultation with them. And again, I'm not going to get up and say, do I love it? I don't think anybody loves it, right? On both sides. I don't think anybody loves the outcome. And at some, to some extent, from what I see of what people know about it in the comments, like, I feel like I've let people down. But I don't want to minimize the work that my office did, the work that Detective Bailey did in investigating this, the amount of care and caution that was put into trying to protect these kids, and make sure that all of their statements were taken in a very effective way, and in a trauma-informed way where they weren't re-traumatized, as little as possible for having been put in this situation in the first place. But they did a really good job, and I think it makes me sad. I don't want to let the public down. Y'all are my boss, right? But I also know to my core that everybody in my office and everybody that worked on it at the sheriff's office, at DHS, at the Child Advocacy Center, they all put their hearts into this.